Yeah, so kicking things off, let's start off with the top 20 hip hop albums of 2020, right? In this case, along with honorable mentions, I will be mentioning one worst hip hop album, right? And there's many to choose from as far as duds and just shit albums, but just one in particular just really really run me up a wall, right? So I'll get to that. Actually, no, you know what I mean. Before we get to the good stuff, right? So just to get out of the way, boy, worst hip hop album of the year goes to Tory Lanez, boy, D-Star.
Oh wow, okay.
Yeah. I hated this album. Like I was listening to this and like I don't know, boy, like my blood was just boiling throughout all these 17 tracks that I was listening to here. So in a nutshell, 'cause I know you didn't listen to Ricardo, this is like the equivalent to R. Kelly's I Admit. It's a whole gaslighting album. That's what it is. Because he had a chance basically to speak a side of the story into what went down with Megan Thee Stallion.
Right. I don't remember. Okay, right.
Yeah. But he's like, oh, well, all they're trying to bring me down because I's a black man and I'm successful and I bought all my masters, so that make me cool. And my friends too, then they back on me like Kelani. So I remember when she used to call me about, stuff about she ex and all that kind of stuff. I know she going on Twitter and making me out. To fuck she. And Chance the Rapper want to see something about me and all that kind of stuff now. And all through that, I still there waiting like, okay, what went down? What was his story? And all you just seeing is, oh, well, Megan lying, and how you gonna know if it's me if you got shot in the back of your foot? How you gonna know it's me? You see me and all that kind of stuff, Dread. And it just keeps going on and on and on, Jen. It's all to just make him like this martyr, like, you know what I mean? He's so misunderstood and he's oppressed and, you know what I mean? He's a misunderstood black celeb and all that kind of stuff, Dread. But you're not really seeing anything, Dread, you know what I mean? In my opinion, personally, all you could just do is just put out like a 5-track EP and just say, you know what, Megan, sorry. Because that's what you're really trying to say to Megan, sorry. And you're giving the impression like, oh, I'm still here, no. If you're ready, I'm still here, no. But it's like, no, motherfucker, no, she doesn't want you anymore. Sorry, right? But, sorry, at the end of the day, this was just a slog to listen to. It just pissed me off in the worst ways, boy, and I legit lock off of all things Tory Lanez, because I was a marginal fan of his music. I thought that he was decent in terms of singing and rapping as well too. No mind, he's copied a lot from people. In this case, he was copying from Drake, he copied from Meek Mill. He copied from a host of the artists.
He copied from Drake.
Yeah, I'm talking about like inflection, like vocal inflections and cadences and stuff.
Kakashi Drake himself. Oh.
Wow. Yeah. So I'm sorry, but this was terrible. Worst album I heard for the year. And if I could give just one dishonorable mention, it had to go to your boy Tekashi 6ix9ine's Tattletales.
What's up, right?
Yeah, which the funny thing about it too is that in 2020 where we all like bumming about what's going on, he just come out with the Gummo album. Sorry, with the Gummo is it Gummo or whatever it is? He came out with the video and it's like, oh my god, 6ix9ine's back. All that kind of stuff, right? But the album couldn't capitalize on its own, trolling, basically, because that's what he is. That's what he is by now, Dread. But it just felt so forced. It just felt like he was just trying to be relevant. I'll tell you how bad this is, Dread. He did a remix to Locked Up.
Right.
The one of the 2000s best hip hop R&B songs ever. He did a remake to that, talking about while he was locked up and all that kind of stuff. And it's only Akon, because Akon produced the track, right? But he provided a verse here. And he pretty much delivered this thought-provoking verse now. So naturally saying, well, it's easy to say, oh, I'll hold you down when you get locked up, but how come when I locked up I'm not seeing you? That kind of vibe now, And I thought that was just so profound, but everything else is just trash. It's just generic trap shit, and just 6ix9ine just being a dick. That's all it is. So yeah, 2 albums that I absolutely didn't care for at all, right? Right. So as far as honorable mentions go, well, I'll just kind of explain myself quickly, right? So, this year, 2020, the way how it was rather rough on me financially at first, right? Well, I should say kind of still no, but not as bad as when the year started, right? So I started this Fiverr gig basically where I, would review albums, right? I just more or less revived my old, Legally Black blog and just did music reviews now for for payment. And in the process I was introduced to just a number of really dope, indie hip hop artists, right?
Nice. Yeah. Yeah.
And some of these artists have made themselves to my top 20 list. So the ones that couldn't make it, including a couple of commercial albums as well too. So let's run through them quickly. We have Mike D, Everything is Fine, Focus. This is an Arkansas rapper. He's also a filmmaker as well. And basically, it's this, socially conscious, political at times, hip hop album, with some solid production and some great vocal work from Mike himself. We also have Agony, The Secret Weapon, his record, shot by Agony. This is a guy from Miami, and basically what he did is just he incorporated some 2000s vibes into his music. So it like from the production to the lyrics has this very, I don't want to say retro, but has this 2000s vibe to it. And I was telling myself, like in the review itself, I have a feeling that, just the same way how 90s and 90s hip hop had a resurgence last decade, I have a feeling that 2000s rap is going to have a resurgence in this decade. So you might hear more callbacks to stuff from Ludacris or Trick Daddy, or Lil Jon, I have a feeling we're going to get all that here. Also, we have Shaman Day, Brand New Day. This is Ohio rapper, Dayton, Ohio rapper. This was his follow-up to his 2014 mixtape, 28 Beats Later. He and all admit that it took him long to put this project out, but it was worth the wait because, production was solid, lyricism was sharp, and it was just the level of growth now from those, from that last project to now.
Right.
Now, as far as commercial albums go, well, three of which you know already, Ricardo. Jadakiss, Ignatius.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah. This was the one that I enjoyed. You actually listened to it before me, but I got into it a little late, but I enjoyed it for what it was. It was just Jadakiss back on his grind, doing his thing. Of course, Me, which is one of my favorite songs of the year. That was just a banger from start to end. I love that song.
Yeah.
Also another honorable mention. Busta Rhymes. Extinction Level Event 2, Wrath of God.
Right. Yeah.
I should call it the ultimate edition because right now there's like 3 cuts of the album, right? Yes. He just keeps adding tracks to these things, but while it is overlong and while it does have filler, but at the same time, this was the Busta Rhymes album that I was looking for years because he was telling us that he was gonna bring on a new project for a long while and we were waiting. And it fit the whole, apocalypse tone from the last ELE album. And it was just Busta just, doing his thing, just showing that in 2020 he still could rip a track, a beat to shreds. He could still do some great, bring in some great collaborations and whatnot, and he could still be as wild and as animated as he's always been, Dred. But it just shows why he is one of the goats, So say what you want about its length and whatnot and filler, but I think it was a solid album nonetheless. So, well, I don't know if you checked out ELE 2 on that, or if you heard a few tracks from it at least.
No.
None?
No, I ain't got that.
Dude, well, give it a look. It's a long listen, but it's worth it. And last but not least, one that actually kind of surprised me, but I'll tell you why in a bit. Eminem, music to be murdered by. But here's the reason why, really.
Yeah.
Because I think it's like a couple of weeks before the time this recording here, he dropped Side B. So basically, Lux Edition put out a extra CD's worth of tracks,
And hard, and
I like what? the issues I had with the first this, right, which talked about on this program here. I don't know, he just kind of stepped up on it with this one. He really improving it. The beats were better, the lyrics were sharper. He was still throw a corny bow to whatnot, but I felt it was just way more consistent than the first disc. And then, for me now, I listened to the first disc and I was like, you know what? I kind of warming up to it, like it's still flawed, but I still kind of warming up to it now. But yeah, boy, side B certainly saved this album for me, boy. So yeah, I was surprised at how great it was, man. I don't know if you have anything to weigh on side B.
Yeah, no, I just listened to the couple of tracks that he wanted to release pretty hard. I just listened to like, a handful of tracks, nothing major. Just thinking, I was like, hey, this run out. I was like, good. I didn't hate the first part of it. I didn't hate that. I liked it for what it was. But yeah, you had issues with it.
Yeah.
This kind of makes up for a lot of that, which I do acknowledge its weaknesses.
All right, so now let's get to my top 20 hip hop albums of 2020, right? Now,
Nice.
when I say albums, this also includes EPs. It also
Right.
includes an instrumental album as well, which I'm gonna jump into right now. Honestly, I haven't listened to a lot of beat tapes this year, just
Right.
mainly because of the change in terms of how I present this program here. Normally I'd open and close with a rap instrumental, but in this case, I just found my team, basically my team song of sorts. I just stuck with that, right? So because of that, I haven't listened to a lot of beat tapes, but this one in particular I listened to and I really dug it. I still go back to it. It is called The World Is a Mad Place. This is
Right.
from a producer called Demo Tapes. He is representing the Kick a Dope Verse label from Russia. Yes, this is where I'm going. I'm going to Russia with this 400. So I found this, I actually
right,
discovered
cool.
this through Bandcamp. And
Right.
basically what it is, it's just a tribute to 90s boom bap, you know what I mean? Just that grimy horn assisted, hip hop basically. And the vibe of it, like I always describe it when I listen to it, is like northeast, you know what I mean? Like you just put on your hoodie, it just puts you in this cool like position, cool situation. Sorry, this cold setting basically, right? So while you're just vibing to the beat, so you can just feel the atmosphere just get colder and colder. It just kind of puts you in that whole New
Right.
York East Coast vibe. Jet. So if you're a beat tape, if you're an instrumental junkie, if you're, I know it has some people who don't like the fact that it have producers who want to go back to that old school sound, but I'm all down for that, right? So yeah, if you're a fan of old school hip hop, yeah, you'll enjoy what this guy did here, man. So number 19, we have Mac Miller, Circles Way. This was the sixth and final album from the late great Mac Miller. And though it's hip hop, it is primarily hip hop. It has elements of funk, it has emo rap, it has soft rock, pop, R&B, amongst other genres, right? And to me, this was where he truly evolved as an artist, right? And it's funny though because, well, yeah, this was a posthumous release, but here it just felt
Right.
like
Right.
it was like the caterpillar turning into the butterfly, just sonically. Like the beats were just so organic, so rich, but so emotionally moving. And then, well, the lyrics, you know what I mean, right down to Mac Miller's singing. Okay, there's a lot of singing in this, more than rapping, but I would admit it was a tough listen. You know what I mean, just a few times because in the back of your head you're thinking, yeah, this man dead, and you're just thinking that he's just speaking from the great beyond, basically, but it just adds a level of poignancy to it, but so yeah, I mean, I can't imagine anyone listening to this record and not leaving it with the eyes welled up to it. You know what I mean? It's that powerful. So yeah, number 19, Circles. Number 18, we have representing Griselda Records, West Side Gun, Pre for Paris.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, this is the one. Yes, admittedly, the one that will introduce non-fans of Griselda Records to West Side Gun. Like he was just always the sort of the loudest member of the group now, especially with his albums that boom, 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 you know what I mean, and all that kind of stuff now.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then there's
Yeah.
hey yo vocals, like, but yeah, this is easily his most accessible records. Just off of the beats alone, boy. They're lush, you know what I mean? They're soulful. They're sometimes moody because it's Griselda, so they always go for dark, grimy stuff, right? But yeah, oftentimes it's very lush, it's very soulful. You can kind of kick back and relax and sip on some orange juice to these beats, right? And speaking of beats, some of them will just lodge in my head for months, boy. So stuff like No Vacancy, 327, which has a great feature from both Joey Badass and and Tyler the Creator, right?
Right.
Eurostep, Claiborne Kick, which features Boldy James. Yeah, those beats were just stuck in my brain for months. But yeah, I would say that if you are a newbie to the Griselda label, yeah, strongly recommend. You know, what I mean, you could start off with some of the earlier stuff as well too. But in terms of West Side Gun, yeah, here's not a bad place to start though. And I would say yes, there are some more Griselda records on their way, right? So number 17, we have Kazi Four Letters, A Thousand Shades of Black. This was a record I didn't even know about, but thanks to the kind folks at docausewesaid.com, you know what I mean, same article I was telling you about, yeah, they put me onto this guy, right? And essentially, he is a North Carolina-based rapper. He's the founder of Vibe House. So this is his sixth album here, and this basically is him kind of going deep into like identity and creativity, struggles of life and all that kind of stuff. But in terms of the lens of just being an African American, right? So it's very soulful, it's very heartfelt, and just the production was strong in this one. I really dug the single, The Ultimate. It has this nice laid back, jazzy feel to it. And yeah, just throw though, even though it clocks in at 70 minutes, yeah, it's just some potent hip hop. So I strongly recommend checking out A Thousand Shades of Black. So number 16, another Griselda record though, Amani Caesar, The Liz. She is officially, well, I'm calling her the first lady of Griselda, even though we have Keisha Plum. She's the
Right.
poet who usually ends off some of the Griselda songs and whatnot. But yeah, Amani is a rapper. She was doing her own thing before, but as she signed with Griselda, she put out this record here called The Liz. And yeah, it was just her just doing her thing, like just showing why she deserves to be on this label. She has charisma, she has sex appeal, she has cockiness though, and she has bars for days, boy. So for me, she's like the equivalent to like what Lil Kim was on Bad Boy or Eve was for Rough Riders, boy. She
Right.
is
Right.
real deal. I really recommend that you check out. Number 15, we have not one, not two, but three EPs, but I had to kind of cheat myself here. Reason
Right.
being is because they called episodes. So basically, it's the 40-year-old rapper, but it's episodes 1, 2, and 3, right? This is from a Detroit rapper slash producer called Mark Sucks. Yes,
Right.
that's his staging, basically. And I was introduced to his work last year. He actually reached out to me through Instagram to, review his stuff. And since then, I have just been loving the stuff that he's put out here thus far. But I would say though, as far as this stretch through 2020, he has been on his grind. But he has been doing collabos, he's been doing promotions, features, production work, you name it. But he's just been pushing himself, greatly throughout this year, man. It's stuff that really inspires me now. But here with this one, yeah, essentially, as the title suggests, yes, he is 40 years old, and he's just showing you different sides of him, right? So you'll get your bangers, but you'll get a couple of introspective tracks, like there's one called Good Life, which is produced by Royce59 himself, yes. And you also get some laid back, grown and sexy stuff that, like on episode 3, for example. And you also get some fun tracks like Clock Out. You get one called Mamba, which, yes, is a dedication to the late great Kobe Bryant, and just so much great tracks though, just across these 3 EPs. So yeah, strongly recommend you check those out. Number 14, we have Jordan L, The Great Progression. This was one that I I did a review of through Fiverr, right? This is a Detroit rapper as well, but currently he's residing in LA. He hooked up with some producers that he knew from his college days, basically, and it's just like these neck snapping bangers, right? But they have some, very thoughtful, very introspective cuts as well, right? One of my favorite songs off that album is Jump. I really strongly recommend you check it out. The video is
Right.
dope as well. And yeah, what I mean, it was just him just doing his thing though, just really showing how versatile of an artist he is. So yeah, really recommend you check out Jordan L, The Great Progression. Number 13, we have my boy Action Bronson, boy, Only for Dolphins. This was one that caught me by surprise because I saw a lot of like Complex and them like rating the album high and whatnot. I mean, I was also a fan of Action Bronson, even back in the days when people thought he was trying to be this rip-off Ghostface Killer, right? But yeah, here really is just him kind of just celebrating the fact that, yeah, you know what I mean, he's a dad now. He lost weight, you know what I mean. He has 2 best-selling cookbooks out right now, and it's
Right,
just
right.
like he's on top of the world right now. And you know, he just kind of encapsulate that in the album. The beats are very upbeat. You know, the instrumentals, sorry, are very upbeat. They're very vibrant. They're fun as well. And yeah, he's a man who will drop some. He always has this kind of goofy, you know, witty charm about him as well too. You know what I mean? He will just drop some line that sounds absurd, but you know, you're cracking up at it, man. And yeah, overall, it's just a fun, upbeat album, man. We really, really can't be angry at this. Number 12, album that you know about, mainly because, you know, I talked about it with you. I hope that you checked it out.
Right.
That would be John Squared and Mike Wise.
Yes, yes,
Y Squared. Did you
yes.
check it out, Ricardo?
Yes, I did.
Okay, what did you think about it?
I really liked it. Don't love
Nice.
it, but I liked it. I liked it a lot.
All right. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I understand. It's a different sound compared to what you get from Southside lifestyle.
Right.
But you know, it's the message that really struck to me, and like I said in my review, it's really towards the struggling artist, the one who knows that he is, you know, as great as he or she says, you know, as great as they claim they are now. But you know, you have the ceiling over them now, and you know, they always
Right.
have these
Right.
people that always want to tell you, no, you can't do this, and you know, especially in Trinidad, it's way worse. You know what I mean? So yeah, creativity is stifled. You know what I mean? Like a mofo down here, but these guys here, basically John Squared being this neo soul artist, and Mike Wise being this really, you know, hard, you know, spitting rapper here, and they just basically join forces. And while it is bitter, while it is very cynical, it's very truthful. It comes from the heart, man. So yeah, it's
Yeah.
just basically them just flexing, just letting y'all know, yeah, they are true artists. Whatever you think about them, they are, and they could care less what you think, Trin, and they're just gonna keep moving forward. So yeah, number 12, Y Squared. Number 11, another Griselda record. This will be from Benny the Butcher. In my opinion, he's the best rapper in that group, right? Well, you know, you could make the argument is either him or Conway, right? I'll get to him in a bit, right? But yeah,
Right.
he put
Right.
out a record called Burden of Proof. This is also his most accessible record to date because here has some very, I should say, trendy beats. Most of them provided by Hit Boy, right? Who also forgot, yes, produced the bulk of King's Disease, which was quite to make it to a top 20 list, but you know, there's just so much to choose from. Sorry, but yeah, what I really talk about this is that, you know, he was stepping out of his comfort zones, both lyrically and, you know, musically. You know what I mean? He was rapping over these beats, as I said, and he just shows a lot of maturity and a lot of self-awareness. But at the same time, he is still that fierce, cold-blooded rapper that you've known him for like the past few years, man. So yeah, if you're a Griselda fan, yeah, you probably listened to this a million times. But if this is if you're like looking for just a way to jump into Benny's music in particular, I'd recommend Tana Talk 3. That to me still remains his best album. But you know, Burden of Proof is a great way to start, man. You know what I mean? Just of how accessible it is, right? Number 10, we have another representative of Southside lifestyle. I'd give it to my boy Profess 216s, man.
Nice.
So yeah, this along with I reviewed this alongside Y Squared, you know, a few weeks ago. Really dug, you know, the progression basically with Professor's music. Man, if you're not one but 2 diss tracks in this, though, yeah, both of them sharp, both of them brutal, both of them just punch the guts, man. But yeah, you know, it's just really how, you know, versatile. Yes, I know I'm using this word a lot, right? Of an MC is, right? You know, he'll touch on different topics. He'll get all introspective on tracks like, you know, scars or whatnot. And
Right.
you know, but he will still show this sense of, you know what, yes, I'm the underdog, but you know what, I know what I'm doing. You know what I mean? I'm on that road right now. I'm focused. Nothing that you could do could get me off this path right now. It's too late. And yeah, I mean, stuff like that just inspires me in Dread. So yeah, really have to give it to Profess with 216s. You really outdid yourself with this one. Number 9, we have one that snuck under almost stuck under my reader though, but you know, it came out, I believe, is either February or March, like really early before the you know, before quarantine basically, right? This would be Denzel Curry and Kenny Beats Unlocked. This is a
Okay.
23-minute album that was recorded over the course of 3 days. So basically, it's Florida rapper Denzel Curry, whose album Taboo made it to my Bessie Decade list. And we have Connecticut rapper Kenny Beats, who I've been hearing his work before, especially with artists like Rico Nasty. Basically, so it's just the two of them just joining forces, kind of like a Mad Lib and a MF Doom, Mad Villainy kind of vibe. And what I mean is, so basically, like
Right.
Kenny would just deliver like these really glitchy, really experimental, wild, crazy beats. And Denzel, who could ride crazy wild beats, just goes nuts over them, Joe. And you could tell they're just having a blast with this record, Joe. You know what I mean? It's short, it's sweet, but it just packs enough punch that you just want to listen to it over and over and over. And like I say, it's glitchy, it's like experimental, but it works, right? And then there's also a really dope music video which covers the entire album, right? And if you look at the video, it really pretty much conveys the vibe of this album for sure. Or I should say EP, right? Because it is an EP technically. But yeah, I strongly recommend you check out Unlocked. Number
Right.
eight, we
Right.
have the second female rapper on this list here. This would be Sarok, the sharecropper's daughter. This was a album I was hearing about through Hip Hop DX. I was like, okay, who's this? Who's this Sarok? Who's this Sarok? I don't know who she is, right? But I'll confess, this is the first record I've heard from her because yeah, she was in the game for years now, right? And this is like the first time I'm checking her out, right? But yeah, she blew me away with this one though. It's conscious rap, but it has a dash of feminism attached to it, right? And it's all about black pride. It means all about accepting
Right.
oneself,
Right.
loving oneself. And as the title suggests, just the ripple effects of American slavery on the black community basically. But yeah, boy, lyrically she was just amazing on this too. Like she rivals, I would say, she's like the equivalent of like a talent quality though, where like every line has some depth, you know what I mean, some kind of meaning to it. Like you just, and it's so dense as well too, you wouldn't pick up on everything with one listen. You just have to give it more and more listens, right? I thought that the features, there's not a lot of features here, but the features were great. You have a dope feature from Styles P, there's one from Black Thought, which was excellent, and there's even a
Right.
great
Right.
hook from a boy Chronix, which, yeah, every
Okay.
time I hear that, I just get like so pumped up and so energized, right? I love that song. But yeah, Sarok is the truth, the sharecropper's daughter, definitely a must listen. Number seven, we have J Ransom, Oceans, Mysticism, and God, aka OMG, right? This was a guy. This was also a Fiverr review that I did. Right, this is a New Jersey rapper, producer,
Right.
spoken
Right.
word
Nice.
actor. So he just does everything. Right, John Futrell, he calls himself J Ransom. Here, this album has probably some of the most atmospheric production I've heard all year. Though it's so dark and moody, but at the same time, it just feels like it's just like swallows you up. Though just each and every beat on this. And lyrically, he comes off as woke, right? But what I love though is that, yes, he is woke, and at times you might think, oh, you just feel like you know everything, right? That kind of vibe now. But at the same time, he feels as if, to me, he comes off as, I kind of have to be this way because there's so much elements in the world that could just steer me off my path and whatnot, right? But I just have to stay focused. I just have to be aware of everything that's going on around me. So what I mean, you get that through the very atmospheric, very moody, very nocturnal production, and of course these like really dense, almost spoken word like lyrical passages that he provides throughout
Right.
this album. So yeah, I did not expect to really enjoy this album so much, but yeah, I did. Highly recommend you
Okay.
check out Oceans, Mysticism, and God. Now we reach
Right.
number six, right? We almost there. We almost there. Number six, we have Clipping, Visions of Bodies Being Burned. So if you remember from last year, I had their recent album, well, sorry, their album from 2019, There Existed an Addiction to Blood, you know what I mean, is one of my top 10. But yeah, this one is more of a spiritual successor than actual sequel to it, right? And basically what it is, right? So Clipping, as you know, led by, the incomparable David Diggs, basically is just them taking like these horror or horrorcore tropes basically and some really dark nightmarish horror movie like production though, and just using this to just critique everything that's wrong with the world, you know what I mean? And it just goes in so hard though. It's very bleak. It's very uncompromising as well too. David's lyrics just cut like a razor blade though, just basically.
Nice,
And
nice, nice.
yeah, it's just there's little to no optimism on this, but it works so in terms of just kind of seeing this how messed up the world is, right? Just as a reminder, basically. But yeah, sonically, lyrically, yeah, this album worked for me. And because this came out, I think it's the week before Halloween. Yeah, I would say this is a essential Halloween album. Like if you just want a album just to get you in the mood, you know what I mean, for trick or treating and whatnot, or to watch, a bunch of horror films. Yeah, definitely check out this album here. And now we get to the top five, right? So I'll take my time with this one, right? So so number five, album that I imagine nobody has heard of, nobody, right? But these guys reached out to me, basically to talk about an album that they put out in late 2019,
Nice.
and I kind of had to put this one here because I listened to this year, right? So yeah, whatever, right? But this one, I didn't know what to expect with this one. When this came and just knocked me on my ass, but I was like, wow, nerd, holy mech. So, brief little description of who these guys are, right? So, nerd, right? Well, it's spelled KNI_IRD, right? This is a post-punk hip-hop duo, right? And they put out this debut album, right? And basically what this is a concept album, right? So what is about in a nutshell, it's about this nerdy kid who is beat up and left for dead by these bullies,
Right.
and he has this imaginary friend who gives him braces with his power inside of them. And then when he gets them, he turns into this kind of muscle-bound Hulk-like character, and he seeks revenge. And then there's this he has this other alter ego who has a bigger scheme in mind, which involves them just acquiring this mecha, basically called the Holy Mech, right? This long lost robot, basically, that they can use to pretty much annihilate anyone that gets in their way, and yeah, rule the world. So yeah, the premise is insane though. It is. It's
Yeah.
very much like they read a lot of comics, they digested a lot lot of Saturday morning cartoons and Nintendo
Megas
games.
is basically the rap version of Megas XLR, right?
Yeah, yeah. And it has this 80s cult like vibe to everything though. But is the execution though? OMFG. They said that they spent 3.5 years putting this album together, boy, and it shows, boy. The production is perfect in my opinion. You know what I mean? There's so much like Sonic Easter eggs involved. Or like you'll hear like a video game sample, you will hear you'll just hear some kind of random sample though, and it's just how both of these guys are so incredibly animated on this though. One guy just sounds like raw, you know what I mean? Like he's talking in this rough voice though, you know what I mean? But it works in terms of the character that he's playing. And yeah, that's essentially what it is though. So
Right.
just basically these two guys that create this insane comic book, RPG kind of world basically, and they're just treating audiences to it though. So yeah, if you're a fan of video games, comics, if you just look for something different though in terms of hip hop, you just want something really aggressive, some stuff that you just want to just smash it to, yeah, definitely check out Holy Mac, boy. This truly blew me away. Number 4, the last Griselda record here, and arguably the best one we got this year, Conway the Machine, boy, from King to a God. Yeah, this was one that when it came out, everybody was saying AOTY for this one instantly, boy.
Yeah.
And as someone who still personally find that Benny the Butcher is the best rapper in Griselda right now, Conway just came and just shut shit down with this one, boy. You know what I mean? He always comes off as, I know I'm the best now. I don't have to prove that, I am the best. And here he just comes in so cocky, just so ballsy, just like, yo, this is why I am going to tell you throughout this entirety of the album why I am the best rapper right now. And he does that shit. The production is very, 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 it's top notch from start to end though. Guest features work as well. Some great production work from guys from Derringer, even DJ Premier, drops a little, beat. Alchemist artist, of course, you know what I mean, who has worked with these guys for years, you know what I mean? And yeah, boy, it's just him basically turning from a king to a god, basically. So yeah, hands down the best Griselda album of the year. Argue with me if you want to, but you know it's true. You know it's true, right?
Right.
Number three, an album that I had as EOTY as at a point in time. This would be Freddie Gibbs, An Alchemist,
Yeah.
Alfredo. Yep.
All right. Yeah.
When they dropped the video for 1985 and they say, hey, album coming out tomorrow. I was like, yeah, I ready for it. And then the album dropped. I listened about 4 times. I was like, yeah, this is the album of the year, Trent. But that's what I thought at the time, though. But still, it holds up, and it truly does. This is like the equivalent to what Freddie did with Madlib, with the Bandana and the Pinata albums, basically, where Alchemist will just drop these just dope ass beats through, and Freddie Gibbs will just come in and just do his thing on them. So it's just the perfect chemistry that they have to. So great guest features as well. Conway has a great verse. Tyler the Creator has a fantastic verse on this one. And yeah, boy, this was just, I just love this album. I loved it. Number 2, I would say this, right? For people outside of Trinidad, I kind of sell myself out here, is either one of these 2 albums will make it as number 1, right? So, sorry, one of these 3 albums. So if it's not From King to God, if it's not Alfredo, then it's definitely Run the Jewels, RTJ 4. Yes, this is number 2 for me.
Okay.
Opening to this, Yankee and the Brave, Part 4, or whatever it is one of the hardest songs I have heard all year, though. That song comes in, punches you in the face, punches you in your stomach, punches you in your chest, and beats you down till the song ends, though. And it's just the perfect way for them to come in and say, look, 2020 sucks, Dread, but we just going to bust through this wall with our car, whatnot, and we just going to shut shit down, Dread.
So, Killer Mike have a track record of running through walls, right?
Yeah. Killer Mike never sounded this hard, never sounded this furious, never sounded this cocky, Dread. Of course, LP just came through with some really dense wordplay as well too. Some cockiness as well, as you would expect from LP. But the production is what he provides to the table is what works as well, though. But yeah, it starts off heavy, just punches you, have your head nodding, and then eventually it just gets darker and grimmer to the very end, which I would say is one of the most powerful tracks I've heard all year. And it kind of sums up, because this came out, if you remember, around the time when the Black Lives Matter rally started, right? So yeah, to me, this was more or less like a soundtrack for that time of 2020. Right. But it also kind of shows their progression as well too, as artists, as Randy Jones, because they always had this vibe of rebellion, but it's rebellion for because we need this. We need to get rid of all these puppet masters and all that kind of stuff. But here it never felt more real than with the shit that went down this year. So yeah, I know for many this is album of the year, but sorry. From the moment I heard this album, from the moment you heard this album, we both agreed, boy, this had to be album of the year. Of course, what I'm talking about. Number 1, Mike Wise, Heat 6 Heat. What other record could it be? I mean, come on. We dedicated a whole segment of an episode of this podcast to how awesome that album was, boy. That one came, just slapped me in the face, boy. We even have a song on it called Slap Trend. I did not expect Mike Wise to come in this hard with this. So potent, so real.
As I say, he didn't have to go that hard, but he did.
He did, but and in my opinion, he had to, because I would say this to me was the moment where local. When I say local, I mean Trinidadian music was shaken up. You know what I mean? This was the earthquake. This was the moment where it's like, no, all this safe stuff that we got over the years, why now? Let me stop this. Let me give them real stuff. Let me give them the reality. So in my review, I call this. I compared it to albums like Mobb Deep's The Infamous or Jizz's Liquid Swords, where it committed to its dark tone and it didn't shy away from it. It stuck it from beginning to end, though. The production is superb, though, from start to end. The guest features, I mean, the man got General Grant of all people to be on this too.
Yeah, for real.
A great verse, a great outro from John Squared as well too. I mean,
Yeah,
and a really powerful dedication to the late Akil Chambers.
yeah, yeah,
And but it's bleak look at tribute union society too. Like that's what really catch me. That's what really gripped me as well too. I know this wasn't an easy album to put out, boy, and I imagine for many people this will be a tough listen, but this to me, was necessary. Dread. This was me like literally seeing the bar as far as local music just being
yeah,
a
please.
release. Yeah, certainly. I hope that more people, not just in Trinidad, Dread, but just outside Trinidad as well, to give this album a listen to, because yeah, this was the best thing I've heard all year. Shout out to Mike Wise, shout out to everyone at Southside Lifestyle Dread.
For real.
Y'all really did all the thing with this one here, boy. So yeah, number one, had to give it to Heat 68, man.
Yep, yep.
All right,
No disagreements, yeah, at all.
thank you, thank you. And yeah, that's pretty much my list of my top 20 hip hop albums list, right? Of course, you're gonna have your disagreements and whatnot. That's fine. Maybe you have some that you're probably wondering why is not this one. You know what I mean? It's either that I didn't get around to it as yet, or maybe I just listened to it a few times and I was like, all right, well, not as great as these ones, right? But yeah, I mean, feel free to let me know what your favorites were, what your least favorite were, as well. You know what I mean? So yeah, 2020, great year for hip hop as well. I'm really glad that I was able to, listen to these artists as well, even in the indie scene as well too. And I really had to bring them into this list here because I just personally don't want to say, oh, because you're an indie artist, you have to have your own category. So best indie albums. No, no, no. It's all hip hop, guys. So whether you're commercial, mainstream, or underground, it's all hip hop, Dread. And I'm a huge fan. I'll always be a fan, Dread. And yeah, this crop of albums here just have me so happy that I'm still, still a diehard fan of this genre here. So yeah, like I said, feel free to let me know what you think about the list. Feel free to share your list as well. And yeah, 2020, great year for hip hop, man.
Yeah.